Ding ding, round two. Let's see if we can do something with that air filter. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to do a long drawn out video on the teardown because I did that last video. But you know how it goes. We're going to pull this cover off, which is just simply clipped on, exposing that fuel line. Then we're going to pop off this cover, which is simply plastic hookups and rubber grommets. Do the same on the other side. Put those covers off. That of course gives us access to those screws for getting the seat off. With that seat off, now I can undo the grounding wires and undo the back part of the tank that holds it to the frame. And then when I do that, pull those out of the way, and then I'll get the fuel line, and then we'll pull the tank back. You know how it goes. Okay, there it is. There's the fuel line off. There's those bolts undone. Remember, there's a grommet behind here on either side of the tank. Let's get the tank slid back and let's get the problem child exposed. Okay, so here we are. In less time than it took for me to gather my tools, I was able to get back to where we were last week. If you remember right, these two screws are my problem children. That one came out okay, but these have to be easy outed. Unless, I don't know, maybe the WD-40 I sprayed all this with last week maybe had an effect. I don't know. I doubt it. But if it didn't, I borrowed these from my toolbox at work, because sometimes I have to do an easy out at work. And opening them up, you can see it's got a variety of sizes. The bottom side here, here, let me put them down. Bottom side here is like the drill part, and the top side is where where it connects with the stuck screw and hopefully gets it out. So we'll see if I can accomplish getting the filter at least cleaned out, because what I did learn is that this is in fact a washable filter. Hot soap and water takes care of it, and then if you use air to dry it out, then you want to push from the inside out to blow all the material back out of it instead of deeper in. So let's see if we can get that going. The reason why I'm doing this is I've got a doctor's appointment today, so I'm home early from work, and so I've got roughly 45 minutes till my appointment, and I just want to see how far I can get into this. It did snow this last week, but that snow is already gone, and it's basically upper 50s right now. So a good day to give it a try. Half day at work, good weather. Let's see if we can get it done. Okay, so continuing on with my plan, I've covered up the air intake with rags, and my desire is to brought out my little air compressor, borrowed again from my own personal supply at work, a sander. I'm going to, grind down the heads of these bolts just a little bit so I can get a deeper bite into the body of the screw for that easy out. And we'll go from there. Okay, I got the head sanded down a little bit. I got the pilot holes drilled, got some metal flakes there. I think I'm going to shop vac those up before I do go any further with this. All right, that'll work. Those, they might be deep enough. I hope they are. We'll see what happens. Now, a lot of times people will just flip this around, put it back in the drill, and let the drill easy out it. I tried that once, and all it did was strip out that pilot hole even more. I think I like doing it by hand better, because then I can actually feel the bite, feel the grip, feel if it's going to hold, feel if it's not, before the drill, the power, the torque of the drill does even more damage. Okay, so I've got a couple little tools to assist me in my project here. First, of course, we got the easy out that we drilled the pilot holes with. I'm gonna put that in place. Got a block of wood, also known as a soft hammer, to kind of drive it in a little bit deeper. And I've got this little ratcheting tool, which will fit over the top of that and help me have enough torque to screw that out. Hopefully, that'll do the trick. Well, inadvertently, there's one out. Actually hadn't planned on it to work that way. I just figured out I needed to go one size larger on my easy out. Next thing I know, boop, the screw came out. I wonder if we'll get the same luck again on the next one. All right, so I know I'm blazing through this pretty quick, but I'll show you. That little point right there is the point that did the easy out work. So it ends up looking like that when it came out. It's great when it works right, a little frustrating when it doesn't. Causes you to do weird things, to second guess yourself, but I think the first time where it didn't work and it just actually ended up rounding out the hole a little bit worse, I might not have had the pilot hole drilled deep enough. Come to think of it, that probably is the issue. But this time everything worked out really good. So let's pull these rags out. I already cleaned up the metal shavings. There's the frame. Stick that over here with the rest of the bits and bobs and pieces. And pull this out. And ew. That's a mess. I don't know. Maybe it's not that big of a mess down there, but definitely don't want to leave it like that for sure. In fact, I can see stuff all the way down in the back in the throat there. That can't be great. So yeah. Soap and water. We'll get that cleaned up. I've got a air gun sitting down right there. I'm going to use to blow out the filter from the inside out, and then we'll put it back together again. But also, in the meantime, obviously I have to find replacement screws, and I hope I can source those locally and not have to order them and wait for them to come in. I did not check that out. I'm flying by the seat of my pants as always here. If you hear kids, that's because I live across the street from a school. Oh, okay, that's just a dead space. There's actually nothing down there from what I can see. Okay, I can feel it now. That's all cleaned out. Okay, from here, I'm going to throw all my stuff inside, wash my hands and clean up a little bit for my doctor's appointment, and then figure out how to wash out my filter. Obviously not summertime. Don't believe my wife will be super excited if I bring this into the kitchen sink, so I'm probably going to end up grabbing some buckets and warm up some water on the stove and do it like super old school style. And I'll get back with you then. Okay, well, that was a horribly unsatisfactory doctor's appointment, but let's see if we can finish up this air cleaner action and salvage the day. So, there's my air cleaner. There's Kitty again. And there's also 2 buckets, one of soapy warm water, one of clear rinsing water. And my local Napa Auto Parts had, I think, good substitutionary screws for the ones that I had to easy out of the tank. I mean, it's just air filter housing screws, so not that big of a deal. So here we go. I don't know if this has ever been done to this filter. Clearly not recently. I'm going to go off camera for a little bit and work on this a little bit more. I'll come back to you here in a little bit. Okay, so I got the filter clean. At least cleaner than what it was. And it's going to take quite a bit to get dried back out again. I've been blowing it out here and there. So between letting it air dry, letting it blow out, I figured now would be a good time to work with the spark plugs. Because with this project I did order another set of plugs because I don't know what condition these are actually in. It's been forever since I've changed spark plugs on anything. Ooh. While the plug itself doesn't look awful on the electrode end, I mean, it's clearly been there a while. And I don't necessarily like what I see down inside there. All right. Nothing is ever really smooth, is it? Looks like I need to break out the shop vac again and see if I can, looks like, suck out what appears to be some debris sitting down inside there. Not in the cylinder head itself, but it looks like it's like if I get too rambunctious, it will go in the cylinder head. All right, be back in a bit. Okay, surprisingly, the shop vac worked well enough to get inside there and get that loose debris out of there. So now, let's break out the new NGKs. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the difference for sure. I believe the spec for the plug gap is 32 thousandths. Should already be pre-gapped. So it's always good to just double check. Start off easy. Yeah, there we go. There's the compression ring. There's the seat. A little bit extra and done. Put you back on. Come to the other side. Not going to do this with one hand. There we go. Okay. Again, a bit weathered, you know, oxidized, but the actual plug itself isn't in bad shape. It's not running rich, doesn't appear to be running lean, at least not heavy, not pitted. Plugs that probably actually had a little bit more life in them, but I don't care, I'm changing them. At least I know where I'm at. There's the compression. There's the seat. A little bit extra. Okay. Let's see, we're going to plug you back in here first, I think. There you go. And you back out here. You know, in my wanderings around, I notice I've got what definitely appears to be a socket with what definitely appears to be a plug that would mate with it. But you know what? I've got no idea what this is all about. I've got all kinds of sockets down here that don't appear to have mating plugs. I don't know. These two definitely look like they should be mated together, but I don't know why they're not. Something for another day. Okay, I think the filter is dry enough now, so let's get that in. It's been a little while now. So there's really only one way it's going to fit in. You see how it's kind of flat there, and it's got a big lip down there. That's going to fit into a flat down here, and it's just all this is all cut out in here, and these square or these triangular notches are going to fit inside that. So a little like that. Very, very easy peasy. Just slides right into place. Now then, we're going to go ahead and grab our framing set. Okay. And I ended up getting two sets of screws, a flathead or this cap screw. I'm going to try the cap screw first, see how well that flies. Honestly, I don't think that I'm going to run into clearance issues. I might. That's what I got the other screws for, in case I do run into clearance issues. But I want to try these first because they got a bigger bite, obviously, for an Allen wrench versus a flathead screwdriver. Let's see if the tank clears everything. Yep, looks like we cleared. So with that now in place, let's begin putting all the bits and bobs back on. All right. Okay, one more thing to do. Okay, that part's done. Time to gear up, go for a little ride, and see about that oil change.